Hello, everyone, and welcome to the She Shoot podcast, Women Empowering Women in the Shooting Community, Season 4, Episode 41, Precision and Passion, Team Canada's 2025 World Shoot Journey. My name is Regina Ruiz Ordonez, and I'm from the Canadian University Shooting Federation. And joining me today, as always, are Deneen Tomlin and Casey Gavinchuk from Lady Guns, and Kelly Melanson from Maple Sea Project, Sci-Fi Radio, and CCFR Women's Program. Let's start by thanking our sponsors for today, Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fund, positively shaping the future of the outdoors. Every cent donated by rounding up at checkout goes toward helping Canadian organizations just like ours. Beretta, family owned and operated since 1526, and Vortex, the best in optics. If you have any comments or questions throughout the show for our guest today, please leave us a comment in the chat box below. Other than that, that's off to Deneen and Kelly to introduce our guest for today.
Thank you very much, Regina. We're so excited to have you guys on the show tonight. Team Canada, fresh off your journey from Czech. We've got a bunch of things to talk about, and I get the honor of introducing you. So I've got to read some bios, but first, just to mention your names, Melody Philistin, Taylor Reich, Everett Pulido, Wesley Stevens, all joining us tonight, and Justin Thompson, not able to join us, but part of the team. So welcome to the show. I'm going to roll through some bios, and then we'll get into some great questions and learn about your journey to the world. So Melody, well, let's talk about you first. You started shooting and getting involved in shooting sports in 2022, so like yesterday, right? After receiving your firearms license. You have spent a ton of time dedicated to training and improving your skills, and you've been fortunate enough to earn multiple national and provincial titles along the way. In 2023 and 24, you had the honor of being named IPSC's Canada Handgun National Lady Champion, and in 24, the IPSC Canada PCC National Ladies Champion title. Also fortunate to be part of the Alberta Production Optic National Team, winning the IPSC Canada Handgun National Championship in 24. This made her the first female to be part of a nationals winning team, which was obviously a very special moment for you. And you say here, especially being able to achieve this alongside your fiance, Taylor. I'm so excited about that.
Yay.
On the international stage, she was grateful to earn a spot to represent Canada at the 2024 IPSC PCC World Shoot in Czechia. She's also looking forward to representing Canada in the Handgun World Shoot in South Africa. We'll be cheering you on as the top Canadian female competitor. And so outside of shooting, aircraft maintenance engineer in Calgary, and doing a bunch of fun things in the outdoors. So that's you. And I'm going to move over to Everett now. Everett got into shooting sports in 2013, starting with local outlaw matches. By 2017, took his passion for multi-gun and it took off, leading him to travel across the U.S. to compete in many major events. During this time, Everett also served as the practical shooting director for his local club. And in 2020, he transitioned from his executive role to focus on pistol shooting after the ban, where he earned his black badge and joined IPSC Alberta. Currently, you are deeply involved with IPSC as a range officer and a volunteer for the Canadian IPSC Nationals, and you served as match director for the 32 Special. You had the honor of representing Canada at the IPSC PCC World Shoot with the rest of these guys, and you've listed them as some of your best and closest friends. That's outstanding. And outside the range, you're an electrician, you're from Medicine Hat, and your home is chaotic with fur babies, and and you embrace your role as a funkle. I like that.
Yeah, me too.
Excellent. I'm going to move on now to Wes. I want to get on to the questions, so I got to get through these bios. Wes Stevens, an IPSC shooter and a range officer based in Saskatchewan. Currently serving as the NROI Director and South Area Director for IPSC Saskatchewan, also the President of the Regina Association of Practical Shooters. You've been actively involved in the shooting sport since 2015, both as competitor and a match organizer. Also representing Team Canada at the first ever IPSC PCC shoot. That's why we're here tonight. And you've got it listed for everybody who's listening as a massive international event with over, 700 competitors. And you said it was an incredible experience to be part of the team for such a historic match. And outside of competing, you grow the shooting sport. So thank you for doing that.
Yeah.
Okay, so last but not least, Taylor, let's talk about you a little bit. There's so much to say as well. You're such a leader in shooting sports. You're out of Alberta. You're a competitive shooter for Team FH Munition and Team Apex. A 3 times Canada IPSC national champion in handgun and PCC, along with multiple Alberta and Saskatchewan provincial titles. You began shooting 3-gun in 2016, IPSC in 2019, and is the first Canadian IPSC shooter to have won nationals in multiple disciplines overall. You guys are all rock stars independently. Yeah. Together, we are so proud that you represented us for Team Canada. So I'm going to stop talking now, and I'm going to turn this over to Kelly to start asking some fantastic questions.
Wow. Really a great, amazing team. So thanks for coming on, guys. I also look back in the notes to see when Taylor and Mel were on, and I think it was episode 26. So if anybody's interested in listening and going and taking that in and finding about them a little bit more, go back and listen to episode 26.
And I think they were just dating then, Kelly. Now they're officially engaged, so, right? The evolution of the gun and the shooting industry. You see what happened?
I feel like I'm part of this family where we can talk about your now fiancés and everything. So welcome back as fiancés. This is awesome.
Thank you.
Thanks for having us again.
We did talk about having you on once you did go to the Czech Republic. And Wes, it's really great to see you. I haven't seen you, I think, since 2016 is the last time I saw you, which was a long time ago.
Yeah, at the charity shoot or something.
Yeah,
right?
the 6th annual. So that was a long time ago, and I was blessed to be able to shoot your 50 cal.
Oh yeah, my gold tiger stripe Desert Eagle.
Desert Eagle. It was just atrocious. It was so atrocious. It was wonderful. It was great to shoot it. So thank you for allowing me to do that.
No
but
worries.
Yeah, welcome to the show tonight. Your biographies, normally we'll say, tell us a little bit about yourself, but your biographies were so well done. I wanted to really get into it and talk about IPSC as well as what it is. So there's a lot of people that are listening or that are going to be listening who are just new to the sport. Can you tell us a little bit about IPSC specifically? Taylor, why don't you tell us about IPSC, and then we'll go around a little bit and ask some questions about the different disciplines of it. So Taylor, what is IPSC?
Sure. So IPSC stands for International Practical Shooting Confederation. So it is the sport of practical shooting, which is a dynamic shooting sport where you have to navigate an obstacle course, come up with a stage plan, engage targets from different positions, different distances, and it is all based on your accuracy and your time.
Okay.
So you get what's called a hit factor. You complete your course of fire, and they take your overall time, combine it with your points. They divide the points by the time you have your hit factor, and whoever wins that stage, it gets 100%, and they have the highest hit factor. So it's a dynamic shooting sport. It's addictive.
Yeah, it is.
As you can probably tell, we've been doing this for a while now.
Yeah.
It's all that I want to do. I would consider it the peak sport when it comes to handgun shooting and PCC and rifle and shotgun and the rest of the disciplines that they have. So that's IPSC in a nutshell.
Perfect.
So I want to add, Kelly, for those people who are going to join us or who may be watching us now, that a dynamic means you're running your ass off around a course of fire, and you're doing a lot of things that involve squatting or leaning or sudden stops. And so dynamic is a nice way to say moving and shooting.
Moving. Yeah. Very active.
Yeah.
So Taylor did tell us a little bit about some of the disciplines. Mel, why don't you tell us about specifically all the disciplines there are, and then we'll get into PCC and what that actually is.
Yeah, IPSC's got a few different disciplines. There's handgun, as you mentioned, PCC. There's IPSC rifle. There's mini rifle. There's shotgun. Is that all of them?
Oh, there's like 5 more, but they're not very.
There's
like 22 handgun. There's action air for airsoft. There's there's grand tournament where they combine different disciplines.
Yeah.
But really the big four are rifle, pistol, shotgun, PCC.
Right. Let's talk about PCC. Okay. What exactly is that? So a lot of people don't know what it is. So Wes, why don't you tell us what that is?
PCC, someone can correct me if I'm wrong, but in 2018, I believe IPSC introduced PCC as one of the disciplines. So it's not like USPSA where it's a division in a handgun match, so to speak, but it's its own discipline. It can compete alongside handguns in the same match, but it's considered its own match. Now,
Right.
PCC is, as the name suggests, a pistol caliber carbine. So short rifles,
Yep.
semi-automatic is generally the king. It's been around since 2018. So this was the first world shoot that that was hosted. It's been put off since COVID. I guess they were supposed to have one, and then the pandemic hit. So it's, other than that, it's just like the handgun discipline.
Yep. So it is the pistol caliber carbine. So typically it's 9mm. And
Minor. That's another thing is any like all handgun calibers greater than 9mm are allowed. So 9mm, 40, 45, but minor scoring is the only scoring that is recognized. So the bigger calibers aren't generally seen that much in the matches.
So you talked about it a little bit. You said this is the reason I went to you is because you were in your biography. You were talking about how incredible it was to be part of such a historic event as well, having PCC at the inaugural PCC Worlds this year. And why hasn't it been? There was PCC prior to that. Why has it just only been recently introduced? I know you talked about the fact that during COVID it was supposed to be introduced, but the world shut down at that point. So it's
world
been around
shoots,
a while.
World shoots are in a rotation for every discipline. So it was every 3 years because the three main disciplines were your pistol, shotgun, and rifle. So every third year it would come around. Now they were trying to sneak in, and this is all information that I just got talking to various people at the match, but they just needed to squeak PCC in there. Like I said, it'd been put off. So this is the only year I was told that there'll be 2 world shoots in the same year, and then they're going to a 4-year program, right?
Okay.
So it's going to be every 4 years. So it's going to be even harder to get in for the next little while. Now this one was. Oh, go ahead.
Oh, no, this one was. Go ahead.
This one was just so monumental to be a part of because, while I'm sure Canadians can and will participate in the future years, unless something changes, like we might be the only national team because you can't develop a national team unless you have championships, and it's just not really accessible at this point.
Yeah, and we are going to talk about that just a little bit. Sorry, Denise.
No, I wanted to bounce over to Everett and talk about where this event was held and when were you there? Because you guys are pretty fresh off it. So you're still feeling the excitement and the jet lag.
Exhaustion.
So tell us where you went, when you went there.
Yeah.
Well, I think all three of us pronounce it differently, but is Nanaimo Chechnya?
Nanaimo. Yeah.
Nanaimo.
Yeah.
Yeah. For the longest time, I was calling it Znojimo.
Now the lady at the event, she was pronouncing it Znaim. So it depends on your region where you're from, how they pronounce it.
Yeah. So all of us landed in Prague about over a three-day time, and then we made the trip, 2.5-hour trip south of Prague to Nanaimo.
Good enough.
Good enough. And then actually, it's my fault. We ended up actually staying in Austria, like literally a stone throw across the river where the match or the border was. So it was kind of interesting making that 45.
Why was it your fault, first of all, and how'd that happen?
So the thing is, we got notified so late about our positions that most of all the other teams already booked all the local hotels.
Yeah.
So we were kind of scrambling, finding an Airbnb that could like support us all. And just looking at the Airbnb map, I'm like, oh, this place is like right on the edge of the border. Perfect. Had everything we needed. And then, yeah, day of check-ins, like, yeah, we're in Austria.
So isn't that a bizarre thing? As a Canadian, we can travel 8-10 hours in the same province, north and south, and for days, east and west. So to be able to pop into another country for dinner and then pop back, it's kind of crazy, but that's a funny story.
Yeah. So, but yeah, the countryside was pretty breathtaking. It almost felt like a BC and Alberta just combined, and it was just green and gorgeous with trees. But sorry, no Saskatchewan West.
They're all burning down right now.
Yeah.
Flat for days. None
It's
of that.
smoky. Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, is it? Oh.
So how did Team Canada come to be? How did you guys get selected? How did that process all come together? Anybody want to take this one?
I could take it.
Okay.
So, depending on how many competitors you have in a region, IPSC World will allot the country a certain number of slots, and then it's up to the country on how they want to divvy those slots up. So, IPSC Canada has a policy where they require that your score be the best 2 of the last 3 nationals, and we've only had 2 PCC nationals. So originally, like what Wes was saying, it got put off for so long. The original World Shoot was actually supposed to be in Florida, and that was supposed to be in 2023. And at that point, we would only have had 1 national, so that may have been a bit of a problem. But since we were able to get the 2023 and 24 nationals out of the way, that meant that IPSC Canada could follow their own policy and officially field a team based off of people's scores from the 2 nationals, right? And so Everett, Justin, Wes, and myself were selected based off performance in the top 4. I think we had 1 other shooter who declined the spot, and that's what brought Ev in, I think. And so they'll just go down the list, and IPSC Canada was given 24 slots. And initially, before the ban in December happened, those slots filled up incredibly quickly. And I think we still sent 18 shooters. And so in that 24, Mel was able to secure a slot, even though she'd only shot 1 nationals.
Yeah.
So Team Canada was 18 people for the overall match.
Overall, yeah. So there would have been the top, like the 4 of us as officially the Team Canada, and then individuals past that. And Mel was on our squad as the ladies national champion.
Right.
We were somehow able to swing that. We were told that will probably never happen again to get.
It's historic.
Right? It's historic.
That's fantastic. That's outstanding. Yeah. I'm so happy that it finally all came together for you guys, and to have the opportunity to represent the country and go and shoot with all of the adversity that we're facing in Canada in the sport right now. So good on you. Good on you.
Yeah.
It's definitely an interesting 2 years, because once they announced that PCC Worlds was actually happening, I remember having a conversation with Taylor and Justin saying, like, we have to do this, we have to make the team. And that was our goal for like the last 2 years, converting straight over to PCC and focusing on that. Somehow Taylor's still pulling off handgun championships and whatnot.
Right?
Yeah.
So you're talking about that. So I think for the next couple of questions that we do have, I think the one will lead into the other as well. So for PCC here in Canada, prior to the legislation, the bans that have been put in, what was the interest like here in Canada for PCC and IPSC prior to that? I saw it really picking up. What were your thoughts?
Yeah, I think it's just starting to build, especially since the handgun freeze in 2022.
Yep.
PCC was now the only way to really get into IPSC.
Yeah.
Because it was non-restricted. So there was definitely, I remember in 2022, the first time I heard of PCC was at the Brooks 32 Special. And that was the first match that offered it. And then the year after that, I think they offered it again in 23. And then there was slowly some matches started to offer PCC, but not all of them. And then last year, I think every match was offering PCC.
They mandated it.
Yeah. So more people were going to nationals, I think, in 24 and then 23. So it was really starting to grow. Yeah. And then it was also a route for new shooters to get into the shooting sports.
Yeah, particularly because handguns are, are being banned.
Yeah.
When you went to the nationals here in Canada, what's the interest from Central Canada? What was the interest from Eastern Canada? Because you're all from Western Canada, right? So was there I see it, Alberta and Saskatchewan are really, really interested in this type of shooting, whereas in Eastern Canada, we were still a little slow on the draw. Do you know what I mean?
I think we still only have maybe, at the time of the ban in December, I think we may have had 30 active PCC shooters in IPSC, Alberta. There would have been a whole bunch that had tried it, but in terms of dedicated, on a regular basis, they're shooting. Yeah, it may have been 30. It's also hard to say for Ontario because the first nationals was in Halifax, and then the second nationals was in BC. So it's kind of out of the way for the Ontario people.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah. But I mean, we increased in attendance in BC, which was surprising. I thought we were going to have about the same, but the attendance did increase. It's hard to say if it was going to skyrocket after that. Depends on where nationals was held. I'm sure if they held nationals in Ontario, they would have sold it out 200 competitors.
Yeah. And I would have seen that too. I still would have seen you guys travel from Alberta, and the East Coast also travel as well easily for it. Yeah. Okay. Let the elephant in the room, the legislation. How'd that impact your ability to train and compete for the Worlds? Let's talk about that. Who wants to take that one?
Wes.
Well, for one, I couldn't, right? So in the summer of 2024, right? So springtime was when we had the last nationals. And so once the team was kind of announced and settled, I decided, you know what? I'm going to go for broke. I'm going to buy a new PCC. I'm going to buy a short barreled one because my current one was non-restricted, a little bit long, a little bit heavy. And so I bought a 10-inch version. And not only did I buy the gun, I bought all the accessories, all the optics. And as soon as everything was in the mail shipped, that was basically December 5th. I hadn't even received all the parts yet. And so basically Taylor had a rifle match November 3rd that year. And that was kind of the last time I really touched it until the World Shoots. So I could dry fire in the basement, which was, dry fire is important, but it is what it is. It's hard to get that cadence down with recoil, the dot bounce. You can get some of the, you can do reloads, but in PCC there's not very much reloads. So it really hindered, and it was kind of unfortunate because I tend to like PCC more than handgun. Like if I had the choice, I would probably pick PCC over handgun 9 times out of 10. So yeah, it's unfortunate.
I have a follow-on question, because I know that you guys, or some of you, took the opportunity to become somewhat public about that in interviews. And I'm really dying to hear what the feedback was that you were receiving. Was it super positive? Were there haters out there? what happened when you stepped up and said, you know what, this is causing our reputation as Canadians to be affected, because now we can't even compete on the world stage in a sport?
I did an interview with our local paper, the Leader Post, and I met the gentleman at the range to kind of discuss the situation. And I brought handguns, and the guy was confused because he's like, "Aren't you going to a PCC championship?" I said, "Yeah, but we can't leave the house with those." And it doesn't matter, this reporter or people I talk to from work or even other competitors from out of country, it's hard for them to understand. Yeah. They said, so you still own it, you still possess it, but you can't leave your house with it. I said, yeah, that's exactly the case. Like if you leave your house, you're at risk of getting arrested and going to jail. They just don't understand how this all works, right? Like how can they just say sit on it and we have no idea when we're coming or how we're coming, and right. It's just tough luck.
And what was the feedback you received, Wes, from going public with your story?
Everyone who contacted me after the story thought it was a great story, pretty positive. I mean, it didn't have very much negative in it, if at all. But a lot of people, shared their frustrations, so to speak.
Excellent. And I know, Melody, you did the same thing, and I applaud you for all the visibility that you gave to the sport. What was your experience with that, and your engagement with the public like?
I got really loud and annoying once they banned all of our guns, because I didn't see it coming, and it just made no sense. Like, this is not helping crime. We're not the problem. We know that. Everybody knows that.
They know that.
Yeah. So we brought it up with our MP, and he actually brought it up in the House of Commons, saying, like, you are preventing our Team Canada representatives from the World Shoot. Like, they can't practice, they can't train, they can't. At the time, we didn't know we were going to be able to rent guns and go. So at the time, we figured that was it. We're not going.
What an emotional letdown. Holy cow, that must have been a roller coaster for you guys. That sucks.
Yeah, it was. I was definitely blindsided from it. I didn't think that was even on the table.
Yeah, like Wes, Ev, and I have all been through the 2020 ban, and this was her first ban, so it hit her.
You always remember your
first. Than it hit me.
Yeah. We talk about this like it's become normal. Oh, well, my first ban was not so bad. But...
Yeah. So do you want to talk about how you had to rent so that you could compete? How did you do that?
Do you want to take that one?
Yeah. So originally Justin and I planned to shoot the USA Extreme Open before the ban. Obviously that came about, and the match was in February. So I discussed with Justin, we were talking about either shooting the match with our pistols, and I'm like, no, we need to practice. So we reached out to David from Da Vinci Machining and asked if we could rent some PCCs for that match, just to get a feel for it. And then after the match, we contacted David and be like, this is our situation. What are your thoughts about supplying Team Canada with 5 rifles? What it would look like, logistics wise, and everything. And David and his wife and his team, they pulled through massively for us. I think they had 8 cases of rifles, supplying almost half the world with rifles. But they came through. We were their priority. We were in constant communication, making sure we had magazines there, optics, backups,
our
everything that we needed. Our paperwork,
spare parts.
So what rifles were you shooting and what optics were you shooting?
Just exactly what I was going to ask.
I know, right? It's like we share a brain.
Yeah.
So these are AR9 platforms. The spec on them is so tight and amazing. They were 16-inch. No, was it 14 plus?
I believe, they're 13 or 14-inch pin and welded.
Pin and welded.
Yeah.
So it's something we don't have to deal with at home, but pretty much they were exactly the same build that we recreated with our Lockhart tactical rifles back home. Same buffer system, same barrel length, same stock, same pistol grips. Everything was
triggers.
We built triggers. We built our rifles to match those rifles because we would love to have those rifles here at home. But
just putting a shout out there, hey Everett. Just would love to have one of those rifles.
Yeah,
I think there's a large group of Canadians that if they become legal again, we're all just going to call up David for sure.
Yeah.
All
right. So David is going to be an honorary Canadian, obviously.
Well, let's give him a proper shout out.
Yeah, let's do that.
What's the name of the company and what's the model of the gun?
So it's David Padovan, and his company is Da Vinci Machining, and the actual rifle is called the DG9. So it's a very popular PCC in USPSA. Where's David from, Ev? Is he Venezuela?
Florida. Oh
no, but like originally.
Yes, and Italian as well.
Yeah. And he moved to Florida and started Da Vinci Machining, and now he's got a whole team.
There you go.
Awesome. Thanks. That's awesome, Mel.
Well, he saved Team Canada, essentially, is what I'm hearing.
Oh,
right?
Yeah.
And what optics were you using as well?
We all brought our own optics. So Mel and I were sponsored by Apex. So we brought our Apex Fusions. So we had a little hard case that we just packed them all in, and I thought we were going to have problems at the airport. We had no problems at all. Went through security. Nobody asked any questions.
Perfect. What about you, Wes? What were you using?
I used a Holosun 510C and a Vortex Venom on an offset mount because, PCC, you got to have two optics.
I was watching some of your videos, and it was clear you needed to have two optics.
Yeah. Everett, what did you bring?
Same as Wesley, the Holosun 510 and the 507 comps for my offset. But I'm the weird one because I like green.
Yeah, he's got the astigmatism.
Yeah. Green is better for astigmatism. Okay. So what I'm hearing from you is that you guys were provided rentals and you provided your own optics, but the rentals were based on what you already were using and practicing with when you were able to practice. So the ability to switch over to the rentals was pretty seamless. Yes.
Yeah. How was that transition?
Maybe not.
I mean, they're similar, but they're still not the exact same, right? Like if you drive a Honda Civic and then you switch over to Camry, especially if you're on a racetrack or something like that, or, there's probably a bad example for cars, but it's still, they're very similar, but unless you have a chance to really, get some reps in, it still took us a good chunk of the match to actually get used to them. Once we were used to them, they were amazing.
Well, and then the first bit of the match, and the guns ran flawless, but like you're not sure, right? Like you're kind of pulling the punches, so to speak. These guys had all Ravens, and while they were set up, I shoot a Freedom Ordnance FX9, and it's quite a bit different, right? It doesn't have the side charger and the buffer system. I did acquire one of the buffer systems that were used, but because I couldn't use it, I had zero time on it, so it was new for me.
And
so there's still a learning period.
Mm-hmm.
And so did you guys get a chance before like going live on your first course of fire to run some skills and drills to kind of warm up with the guns?
Yes, our first day with the rifles, we had a sight-in, and then we also had a training bay rented. We rented both sides so we could use it ourselves, and we ran some skills and drills in there, and I think we burnt 1,200 rounds just practicing.
Wow. One day, yeah.
Yeah, one day.
Not even one day, 50 minutes.
Yeah, I guess for one session.
Wow. And so how did it all turn out? Were you guys happy with your individual performances? Were you marked as a team as well? How does that all work out, scoring and PRs? How'd you do?
I think Ev, do you know the stats on where we placed as a team?
I have it here. If you give me a second.
So as a team, we were 24th out of 30, so not a great result. But I believe we all were in the upper half anyway as individuals. I myself, I think I was. Now there was 700 shooters there, just in PCC optics. Yeah, but just in PCC optics, was there 700 and some? And then I think over 1,000 in the whole match because they coupled it with mini rifle, which is 22.
I saw that. Yeah.
And then PCC
770 optics.
Optics.
Wow.
Okay. And then, so I was 268. Justin placed higher than me. I think he almost broke the 200s, and then Taylor was 117. So being the highest Canadian.
15.
I think 115.
115. Oh, sorry.
We were making the joke that he was going to be Spartan 117.
Yeah, 117.
No.
Yeah, and then I was in the middle of the pack. The last couple days, I fell behind due to an injury, but that's what happens. Still happy to be there, but
good for you. Yeah. I hope the injury wasn't related to that delicious Czech beer.
No, it wasn't. It was actually happened last October, one of our last qualifiers in Alberta.
What was that?
I had a knee injury, and then I've been recovering from that.
That sucks.
Yeah.
Big boys can't run.
So obviously, you're not coming home and pulling out the PCCs and getting ready for the next shoot. So what are you guys doing with all that spare time? What are you getting ready for now?
Yeah, what's next?
Now we've got the Handgun World Shoot to prep for, and that's in 3 months. So it is crunch time.
Yeah.
And where is that, Melody?
That's in South Africa in September.
Right.
And is that something you guys are all going to, or have all qualified for, or just one or two of you?
Wes is joining us. Ev's not coming. You could have had a slot, but you declined it, right?
I declined it. My focus the last couple of years was PCC. And I've given up quite a bit of time and with family and friends, so I decided this year to step back a little bit and just shoot a couple matches for fun and enjoy myself.
Balance is important, right? Yeah. It's important whenever you feel like you got to do it. Sometimes that's exactly the time to take a knee. Pardon the knee pun, but
yeah.
And it is the first time that you're having the two worlds in the same year.
It's a crazy year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
They're making up for lost time, obviously, with the COVID, the thing that shall not be named. So, all right. So we're going to be concentrating on the handgun. Anything else that you're looking forward to, or any other competitions that you're really excited about? Or
we kind of ramp up slowly to Worlds. So we had the PCC Worlds, and now at the end of June, we have our provincial championship. Up in Fort Mac, and then at the end of July we have our national championship here in Tabor, and then it's Worlds. So it's kind of like we build up in kind of how important the matches are. So that works out pretty well for us. But I mean, regardless of what was happening with the PCC bans, we knew that as soon as we got back from Czech, PCCs are going in the safe, even if we could shoot them,
handguns
and it's all
right.
handguns. Yeah.
All hands on deck. Okay.
Yeah. Like I personally, I really enjoyed the journey with PCC, but I've always focused on handgun. That's been my number one. That may have changed after this year if we could still shoot PCC, but handgun was always my number one priority, my number one focus. And I think it was the same for Mel. You kind of stumbled your way into PCC, so handgun was still like number one for you.
We tricked her to go into the first nationals with the Airbnb. It had a pool.
We heard about that.
Right. I didn't want to get FOMO, so
Right. I totally understand that. Well, so while we're talking about that, and we're all laughing a little bit about a few things, tell us some of the big highlights of your trip. You know, the good, the bad, the ugly, the broken, the injured. What happened? What did you guys do?
What didn't we do?
What did you do?
One of the big highlights, I don't know if it sounds corny, one of the big highlights was marching in the Parade of Nations. Like honestly, like landing in Prague, we were there, or I was there a couple days. Ev was there a little bit longer, but like the drive down and then like getting to Znojmo and assembling with all the other countries. I think there's 50 plus countries there. And just marching down the city square to you know the marching band music and seeing the outlandish Czech performances that they were hilarious, by the way. But that will always be one of the big highlights for myself.
Yeah, it was really cool to see just like all the teams from all these different countries, like the scale of this international sport that's just so massive, and it's such a well-kept secret. It's like it doesn't get the attention it deserves. But it was just wild to just see it all and everybody there.
Everybody was there for one purpose, and we were just one big community there doing representing. But even like our comrades on our squad there, like we were propping each other up. We had no idea who they were, but by the end of the match, we were all friends.
That that's super cool. You've got 700 people that are like-minded, that are all there for the same objective. You don't even all speak the same language when it comes to communication, but you speak the gun language, right? And the passion for the sport. So I can only imagine how cool that must have felt, especially with the bigger show being so huge and so popular over there.
Yeah, one of the big highlights for me was I find in the shooting sports you make a lot of friends online, and you might never meet those people. You might just talk to them on a weekly basis. And one of my friends that I finally got to meet, I've been his friend on Instagram since like 2018, AJ Anthony. We went out for dinner, or we went out for lunch after the first day of shooting, it was after our first day of shooting, right? So, Monday. And we were talking as if we were old friends. We'd never seen each other in person before. Got to meet his fiance, and we became great friends. And then he went on to win mini rifle. He ended up being the mini rifle world champion.
Cool.
So,
it's
really cool to see.
Yeah.
That's cool. Thanks for sharing. How about you, Mel, being the solo lady in the group? Do you have any highlights, or was it all lowlights hanging out with boys?
I think like kind of a bit of both of what Wes and Taylor were saying. Like there's people that I talk to online, or that like we kind of just follow each other's like shooting journeys, and then now we actually get to like meet up in person. And then, or even friends that I've made like at matches in the past, that now we get to hang out and like go for dinner or go for drinks and stuff again, because we all live in different countries.
Sure.
So it's cool to have that like connection. And then just like the parade, that was really wild to see. Sorry?
No, go ahead.
So, and even the ceremonies at the end, it was just so moving. So it was.
It sounds amazing. That's what I was going to say. I've chatted with Olympic athletes from a variety of different sports and disciplines outside of shooting, and they say that when they were part of that parade and they saw their national flag and they heard their anthem, the pride of being part of something so much bigger and so much and so supported with that, was overwhelming. And so I haven't experienced it personally, but I think that's super, super amazing that you guys had the chance to do it. And it's a lifetime experience, right? I won't say once in a lifetime, but it's certainly something. No. We know you guys will be back.
It's an experience, yeah.
Well, and speaking of the Olympics, a big part of the closing ceremonies before all the awards were announced, the vice president of IPSC World did a long speech about IPSC's future and how they're pushing very hard. They're very serious to be in the Olympics, not this coming Olympics, but the next one. They believe that they've met all the criteria. And I mean, a lot of people will say, well, they're never going to let another shooting sport into the Olympics, but they are. The vibe we got is that they are very serious about becoming an Olympic sport.
Well, you heard it first on She Shoots, hot off the press. IPSC is going to be part of the Olympics, and we'll be super happy to see you guys as part of that too.
Yeah. Do we want to talk? I know we're getting a little long here. It's 1:45. So do we want to start talking about some things that are really important? Not that, your memories of the Czech Republic or going to Austria aren't important, but let's talk about those people who support you. Do you want to talk about some of your sponsors? Yeah, let's talk about some of your sponsors.
Yeah,
Taylor.
Da Vinci's not like I wouldn't consider Da Vinci one of our sponsors, but we would not have gone to the Worlds if it wasn't for Da Vinci. Like they had other guns available for rent at the match, but it was, it would be the equivalent of someone lending you a stock M&P to shoot nationals with, right? It's not a competitive gun, whereas Da Vinci really pulled through for us big time. We were incredibly grateful for that.
Yeah.
So we won't call them a sponsor. Yeah. We'll call them a Team Canada supporter.
Yes, the Team Canada support group. But then for actual training leading up to the World Shoot, unfortunately, the rest of the team wasn't able to train. But both Melody and I, Sterling Arms reached out to us, and their PCC is still not on the list yet.
No.
And so that was a huge help that JR brought us onto the team for Sterling Arms, and we both got set up with an R9, and that really helped us, really helped us with training leading up to the World Shoot. Because like Wes was saying, there's a lot of stuff that you can train without pulling the trigger, but eventually you got to pull the trigger, right? Yeah. And even if it wasn't the best race gun in the world, it was a million times better than not having anything, right? And the guns were flawless. They were very accurate, and that was one thing that like our ammo in the Czech Republic let us down a little bit. The Da Vinci's, like Wes said, we had 5 rifles across 30 stages and not a single malfunction with the rifles. They
with brand new untested magazines.
Yeah,
and so everything worked, right? The only issue is the sight in bay was full of 700 competitors trying to also sight in, because you don't know what kind of wax your your check bags take when you're loading them onto a plane. So we're just trying to get in there into the trough, so to speak, and fire your 5 rounds on a steel target or a paper target that already has a million holes in it.
Right.
Yeah.
And I think it's on, like, so.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, that I love that you gave a shout out to Sterling Arms. I actually had I saw that post that was happening in social media when he was like, "Hey, I got you guys," and he's such a supporter of the shooting community, J.R. Cox, and even after the unfortunate loss of the Shooting Edge in Calgary, he's still supporting, and he's got another venture to support the shooting sports and the shooting industry on the street again. So he deserves a shout out for sure. So who else is a sponsor or even a big supporter that stepped up to help you guys out?
Well,
Apex Optics, they sent us Actually, they even sent us spare dots just in case.
Yeah.
In case anything happened.
It was like a few weeks before we left. They sent me an email and were like, "Hey, we're throwing in the mail another couple dots for you to take as spares for the World Shoot and weather shields." And I was getting texts from Van months leading up to it saying, "What do you need? What do you need? What can we do? Like, what can we do to make your experience like flawless?" And they really stepped up for us. Like they've been incredible supporters since I met Van. They always want to push their shooters to be better and have everything that they need. So that was
very
awesome.
supportive. Yeah.
And then FH Munitions, they provided all the ammo that we needed to train with, and they wanted feedback on how it was doing in PCCs versus handguns. They really care about having match grade ammo. Like anything that goes wrong, they want to know about it. They'll be like, just bring in that round that didn't go bang, right? And they'll pull it apart and look at everything. So they were incredibly supportive of everything that we did.
Double Tap was also extremely supportive. I about 3 or 4 weeks before we were leaving, I don't know how I did it, but I cracked all of my mag pouches on my belt.
Oh no.
And
that happened.
I think just practicing, because they're old. Like I've had the same mag pouches since my black badge, and you can't get ghost pouches in Canada anymore. So I reached out to Double Tap, and the next day in the mail, they'd sent me pouches and a new belt. So I was able to start practicing with my new setup, and I love it. It's flawless, and I'm kind of upset that I can't really use it right now. But yeah, Double Tap stepped in huge. They provided targets and tape for us to practice with too.
Nice. Yeah, because we shoot the white side, right? And so we're like, well, we have a ton of brown pasties, but not a lot of white ones.
Right. So what about other kinds of supporters? Let's take a moment and give a shout out to family, friends, employers, anybody that really stood behind you, dropped you off at the airport. Who else was out there?
For me, definitely my family. I have a small business with my parents. Allow me to get away to matches, nationals, making sure things back here are taken care of while I'm away. That's a great help. And then just not these guys, they don't support me this much, but my other friends locally, making sure that even when I'm frustrated with work, I'm getting out there to practice or if I'm not having a good match, just making sure that I'm just mentally supported there and just brush it off, get to the next one, keep practicing, and then my fur babies.
Fur babies. Gotta have the fur babies.
Well, they're pretty important. They'll keep you balanced too, right?
Yeah. I have never seen them so crazy when I got home.
I bet.
They were happy to see you.
I bet.
Yeah. What about you, Wes?
Oh, I'd like to give a shout out to my buddy Adnan Parwez. He's the section coordinator of Saskatchewan for IPSC, but we've been shooting together for a long time, probably since 2014, 2015. So he's been a good training partner. The RWF hooked me up with like unlimited range access. I mean, not that it much helped, but I could practice with PCC all winter long, or with my handgun all winter long, right? In the indoor range, nighttime, during blizzards, all that stuff. And finally, like my spouse Erica, she's been with me, supporting me, looking after my fur babies when I'm away or at matches or at practice night or whatever, right?
Yeah.
All right. Big shout out to fur babies spouses. In that order. Sorry. No, it's the other way around, right?
I also want to thank Apex. They're sending me cool optics to give away at my matches. So
nice.
Awesome.
Nice. That is a great shout out. That's awesome. And so where can people find you guys on social? I don't know if Casey, you have anybody's. No, I'm seeing you shaking your head. Do you have socials pages where people can see your posts from your matches or Melody's cool kit that she's wearing these days?
Yeah, my Instagram handle is 9mm Melly.
Mine's the.albertan.
Yeah.
And I will be putting up eventually, I don't know how long it's going to take me, a full match video from the World Shoot, and probably a separate video with just everything else that happened there, like the opening ceremonies. I basically just held a GoPro stick for the entire time, so the entire ceremony is recorded. Some of the closing stuff, some of the walking around the range. So that'll be on my YouTube channel, which is just Taylor Reich. And
right
then
on.
Some of the
Evan
day in
West
the
will
life.
have Instagram.
Yeah.
Day in the life in Prague.
Yeah. Day in life.
Yeah,
in Prague.
I can't wait to see the vlog.
Yeah, you'll see the 3 seconds that I got to film inside the CZ store before they yelled at me to turn off my camera.
That would have been awesome. Would have been one of my
The
highlights.
CZ store is a must if you're ever in Prague.
Yeah.
Right.
Yep. Everett, I know you have socials. I'm following you.
Yeah, so Facebook and Instagram. Instagram, it's just Everett.Pulido. Very original, very simple.
All right.
Yeah.
Wes, what about you?
Yeah, I have Instagram. My handle is Whiskey Juliet Sierra with dots in between. I also have a YouTube channel. I have just posted basically opening ceremonies in day one. It's just kind of a picture clip show and a video of my first 6 stages. And I'll probably post each subsequent shooting day, every few days I'll probably post a new day shooting. So
outstanding. That's cool. Kelly, I noticed we're closing in on the top of the hour, and these guys got matches to sign up for at the top.
I got it. I got it right here.
Yeah, so
I can do it on the fly.
We always have a closing question. Can we go to that one, Kel?
Yeah, why don't we do that?
And we've asked Taylor and Melody this before, so I'm gonna bounce this one over to Everett and Wes, and then if we've still got some time, and Taylor and Melody want to comment on it. But She Shoots is all about empowering women in the shooting sports and really encouraging women to get out and give it a try and find out what's for them. What's for them: a rifle, shotgun, pistol, fun days, competitive. So what words of advice from your experience or exposure or bringing ladies into the shooting sports? What advice would you have for women in getting started in the shooting sports community in Canada?
Personally for me is when bringing out my friends originally. They're always questioning, what are you doing? How are you doing it? What's it all about? Is it safe? And the number one thing is you don't know till you try it.
Right.
So just bringing them out and giving them instruction, show them how to be safe. And then next thing you know, you end up like Taylor and Mel.
Engaged, right?
married to shooting and to each other. That's
correct.
That's right.
Yeah.
Wes, how about some words from you? About getting women into shooting sports.
I'd like all the women to know that don't let anyone tell you you can't, or it's just for boys, because there's a lot of women out there, especially in our sport, that are proving time and time again that they're just as good, if not better, than the men. A few notable women to follow would be Lena Michalik and Justine Williams, who just cracked the top 10 and got High Lady. Like we would love to, all of us would love to shoot at her level, and she is just absolutely crushing it. Women are a force to be reckoned with.
Yep. Good, great recommendations. So thank you to both of you. All right. Well, we wanted to say thank you so much for coming on tonight and talking about the very historic event that you went to and representing Canada so well at the World's PCC. And we know that you have the matches to get registered for. Literally, you got, I think,
in
1
2
minute.
seconds.
Right now.
right now, Ab, get in.
Right now.
There you go. So we're
go.
We're
So
going
you gotta go.
Thank you very much again. But we're going to turn it over to Rahina, and maybe you can get that done while she takes over and gives a shout out to our sponsors.
Already
Okay,
done.
sounds good. Yay!
Already done. Yay! That's quick.
Practice Score
That's a
is
good
a
sign-up.
wonderful website.
It's a wonderful thing, isn't it?
That's why he has the highest hit factor.
Right.
Yeah. You got to be registered in the first 30 seconds or you're not in.
A lot of people say that.
Well,
they miss it.
since
out
we're
by
talking
30
about your
seconds.
competition, why don't you tell us where you're competing so maybe people can go watch you?
Well, I think Mel is going to be working, and Wes is off in Saskatchewan, so I don't think he's probably going to make the trip. But Everett and I will be in Canmore, not this coming weekend, but the weekend after at the Kananaskis Gun and Archery Club for the IPSC match there.
Awesome.
Okay, awesome.
Awesome.
Beautiful.
And it's open
Beautiful
to public,
place.
so people can go and watch it and see what it's all about.
Yeah, I don't know what Canmore's rules are. They're pretty strict about the shooters. You have to be there for a safety brief. I don't know what the deal is with spectators. I'm not sure.
What dates are those? I have a work trip at like the last week of.
That's the 28th, right?
I'll get put on the wait list.
21st and 22nd.
Oh, is it 21st? 22nd?
Oh, okay.
21st, 22nd.
Yeah.
Right.
And then Alberta Provincials is the 27th, 28th, and
Right after. Okay.
Yeah, right before your birthday.
There you go.
Well, seeing as we won't have the chance. Happy birthday, Everett, when it comes. And now that we're all registered for the next shoot because Taylor got us all sorted, I just want to take the opportunity to thank you guys. I know Kelly said thank you. It was so great that you jumped on the opportunity to join us on She Shoots. We're excited watching all the posts that you guys had and knowing you were there representing Canada and doing something in spite of our choice being taken away from us and still slaying it. So we're super proud of you for representing and showing people that it is fun, it is safe, and it is something that should be continuing in Canada just for that very reason. So thanks again for being on the show, and thanks for being part of such a monumental event on behalf of the country. So
yeah, thank you for
thank
that.
you.
Yeah, thank you for
guys
having us.
Thanks.
All right, Rahina, over to you to close us up.
Okay, thank you. So yeah, I don't think we had any questions come in today, so you guys are off the hook. But in the future, for our audience, if you want to ask our guest any questions, just make sure you participate on the comment section there at the live episodes, and I'm sure they'll be more than happy to answer all your questions. But other than that, I'll just go through upcoming events really quickly. As we know, this USF is kind of quiet for the year since school's out, but that means it's a good time to send us an email at submissions@CUSF if you're interested in volunteering or if you're interested in starting a club at your university if you don't currently have one. So yeah, just send us an email, submissions@cusf.ca, and we can help you get started with that. Other than that, Kelly Mapleseed.
Sure. We got a lot of events that are on the website currently right now. Most of them are open to the public. Some of them are sold out. But go to mapleseedrifleman.com, go to the event section and check it out. We're adding new events all the time. I'm going to be in, where am I next week? I am going to be in Brockville. Hey, at the Brockville range there, Wes, where you let me try your nice shiny.
That's a nice range, by the way.
It is a nice range. So I'm going to be there. So if you want to come out next week, there's still spots available. But as I said, check out the website. We are having a couple of ladies only events. One of those is going to be in Blue Mountain, and it's going to be in September. But check those out too. We'll list those specifically for the ladies. So if you're interested, go and sign up. Love to see you. And what about you, Deneen and Lady Guns? What's going on?
Been super excited to start a couple of new shooters. Have some new students, and they've been really getting into the shotgun sports. And I had a new shooter not only pick up the gun for the first time, shoot a 5-stand match, but then she shot a sporting clays round as well. So nice. Super proud of those ladies. So I've been out doing that. Super excited to mention that the De Winton HIA Club in south of Calgary now has a sporting clays range for anybody who likes to get out and give it a try. There's something new to do there. And I took my RSO and instructors badges there just so I could hang out with the ladies and the kids on Youth and Women's Night and be able to teach. So I'll be there after I get back from vacation in a couple of weeks and pick up on that. Other than that, doing some work with the dog clubs, as I mentioned before. So I get the opportunity to help those puppies and those dogs, those gun dogs, train. And so I'm one of the people who gets to gun over those beautiful dogs. And I have a puppy that's getting ready for the September trial. So that's my world right now, is mostly shotgun stuff, but it's fun nonetheless. And if anybody wants to come shoot ladies' night with me on Wednesdays, let me know, or give it a try for the first time and you're in the Calgary area, let me know, and we can set up something to get you out on the range.
Awesome. Thank you so much, ladies. So with that, once again, thank you so much for Team Canada for joining us today. It was amazing hearing your stories about your competition and how you got there. So once again, I'll just go ahead and thank our sponsors. So thank you to Cabela's Canada Outdoor Fun, Beretta, and Vortex. If you liked this episode, please leave us a like and follow us so you don't miss out on any of our episodes. You can watch us on YouTube and Facebook, or you can listen to us on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Google Podcasts, and iHeartRadio. If you liked our message and would like to learn more about our programs, check out our websites at cusf.ca, ladyguns.ca, and mapleseedrifleman.com. To support us and get some additional perks, check out our membership programs. Thank you all for tuning into the She Shoots podcast, Season 4, Episode 41, Precision and Passion, Team Canada's 2025 World Shoot Journey. Make sure to join us on our next episode on July, and I guess I just missed to put the date on, but we know it's the second Tuesday of the month at a regular time of 5 p.m. PST, 6 p.m. MST, or 8 p.m. EST, depending on where you are on the country. So pay attention to our social media pages for the next episode announcements. And with that, thank you, everyone, and have a good night.
Bye.
Bye.
Thank you.